You are tuned in live. It's the show you just can't miss. One on one with Ernest Gibson, CEO of Hartview News Network, bringing you the truth, independent and balanced analysis. We are proud to be the voice of the voiceless. Hartview News Network, where news is our game. Accurate coverage. We are rising to the theme. Live discussion on issues that matters to you. Community engagement. We are breaking right through. One-on-one with the CEO, Ernest Gibson. So mark your calendar. Don't let the time slip away. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Join us today. One-on-one with the CEO. Dynamic and bright. Stay informed with Hartview News, your guiding light. Well, a pleasant way to welcome you to today's edition of the program One-on-One with the CEO Ernest Gibson. Of course, he's not here with us this evening due to some unforeseen circumstances, some test surgeries. But I'm going to be here. The rest of the team members will be joining subsequently so that we look at key national issues, trending issues unfolding in Liberia. It's quite interesting to know that there are lots of things happening within our country that we need to talk about. The issue of those who were immediately suspended by the president based on the outcome from the LSCC regarding these individuals who, having lived up to the time frame of declaring their assets. So the president have instructed that these individuals be suspended for a month without salary. So we're going to be looking at that. Just coming in, it's been alleged that a boy was allegedly shot in the Bonja area by a police officer. Why? We will be getting the clips out for you. Since after the 2023 general and presidential elections, ANC standard bearer for the first time came out publicly to speak on national issues. Mr. Cummings on today spoke to key national issues, assuring his partisans that the party remain um, fools, a force for good in terms of chanting in and making those necessary corrections as the Unity Party-led government steer the ship of affairs of the nation. But we will be talking about so much this evening. But let us bring you Mr. Cummings' speech he made today, and then thereafter we'll be chanting on it and move on to our next. My name is Rufus Divine Cannon. Welcome to the program One-on-One with the CEO. Let's listen to Mr. Cummings.
Prime Minister on the side, on the side, who that's in 91.9. Sky 107.1. Here in radio, 95.5 on the Facebook pages of Spoon TV, KMTV, Closing Argument, and Sky. I need the Stevens, this article, your closing statement.
Yeah, thank you, Jim, and thanks to all the players for your good questions. Let me say to our people that again, as I said in my opening remarks, we are in Liberia, we've been around, we do some travel, and we'll continue to do that on board outside the country and just accepted to be a senior advisor to one of the fastest growing artificial intelligence companies. So accept opportunities for myself. I want Liberians to continue to be hopeful. I know it's hard to be. I want Liberians to know we still believe in our country and our people. And before I conclude, I want to wish my darling wife Teresa a very happy birthday, which is her birthday. Do this public manner. Tomorrow is our anniversary, and on Friday Valentine's. So I did it right. I married her on the 12th. Her birthday is on the 12th. I married her on the 18th. I was on the 14th. So this thanks for being along for my life. We thank all of you for your presence here today. God bless you and God bless my family.
And if you want to have an event, let's bring this idea. And event more. Have a physical side, come here.
So that was a press conference today held by the ANC standard bearer after several months and a year, so to speak, his very first appearance in the public glare concerning national issues. He made mention of agriculture, made mention of several issues that has to do with us Liberians, not just depending on government to do, but we ourselves as the citizens, we need to get involved with the transformation of the country. He spoke lengthily on those issues, ranging from agriculture and security. So, wherever you are, just leave your comments. If you are following us, just leave your comments on the live feed, and those comments will be read out here for you. I'm still awaiting my colleagues if time can permit them to join in as we look at these key national issues of national concern. Like we said, the president um, actually gave the the president did give the LCC as an institution, a very relevant institution that is responsible for regulating the issue of corruption and other malfeasance in government. The LCC have come up with a full listing. We will be giving you the listing, but across the country, there are mixed views on the issue that has to do with this listing that came up from the LACC concerning what one call there were names being mentioned that shouldn't be mentioned, and in other words, the United Party, through its leadership, petitioned the LCC to intensify the anti-corruption efforts. As we all know, that Unity Party members have been all over the place. The party, the government started on with this vigorous approach to clamping down on corrupt individuals. We've seen a lot of people being suspended, some were laid off, but interestingly, on today, after the listing of individuals who haven't complied with the time frame given for the declaration of their assets, we saw Unity Party officials um, visiting the offices of the LSCC um, in anticipation to petition them to intensify the anti corruption efforts. The dedication of high ranking officials from the Unity Party visited the Anti Corruption Commission today and presented a formal communication outlining the party's stand on the fight against corruption. The dedication was led by the vice chairperson, Senator Daba Vabla, including permanent members, so to speak. One has to do with the Secretary General Mo Ali, Cornelius Kratokpa, UP Youth Chairperson Melvin Cephas, the Vice Chair for Mobilization Warren Bryant, who is now also playing the role of the Monserrado superintendent. They actually went out to meet with the LCC. And it was interesting to know that after the interaction, Mo Ali spoke to journalists concerning the meeting there at the LACC. So let's get a buzz of this, what Mo Ali had to say. To let's get this for you quickly. Let's get this audio off for you quickly, and let me welcome in my colleague before getting the audio. Uh, Maurice, how you doing?
I'm okay with us.
So
I'm
how
okay.
he has
How you
been
doing?
with you for the past days or weeks?
Well, we give God the glory. We can't complain. We give God the glory because waking up every morning and good health is the most important. For me, it's the
Oh
greatest
yeah.
gift because if you don't have life, you just don't have anything to boast of. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always grateful. Life is my greatest gift as always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we go to Mo Ali statement to the press concerning a visit today, what have you to
Mhm.
say concerning the stand of the LACC by publishing names regarding those who the president came up and made a pronouncement that all of his officials should declare their assets, and that we haven't seen much of them do. But the
Mhm.
LCC, through its able leadership, came up with a listing of members who have not, member of the government who have not actually lived up to the time frame. And it will interest you to know that names that shouldn't be amongst those names that have high respect for in society, they are all amongst the names that were posted today, the names of the likes of the health minister, the likes of education minister, and so forth. And there are other people who are also stating that they are not in government, but their names also on the list. How did that happen? So they tend to question the LCC independence or verification as it relates to those who were appointed by the president. And, there was this issue of appointment and removal. The person will appoint. After a few days, you see that person will be recalled and replaced. So, and with the LACC coming up to post names, one may say without verification of those who are presently working in the government, who were appointed by the president and subsequently working in the government or commissioned to work at the will and pleasure of the president. Some of them, trust me, their names are not being mentioned, and other names that were mentioned, these people are not even in the employ of government. So that there where the sticker issue is. So what have you to say, Morris?
Where I think it is somehow welcoming to see that the president has taken some steps in ensuring that he can suspend his officials who have refused or ignored the Code of Conduct Section 10.1, if I'm not mistaken, the calls for the declaration that mandates every government official to declare their assets. Once you assume the mantle of authority, or once you've been confirmed by the Liberian Senate, you automatically uh, is on an obligation to declare your asset. So the president and the vice president took the lead some times ago, and they declared theirs. It was incumbent upon every government officials to have done the same. Salad, Sally, they have been delaying to declare their assets, and I think the president too also delay by suspending the officials, because you as a president, if you follow the law by declaring your assets, and then the vice president also did the same. Every government official that you appointed, they are under obligation by law. The Code of Conduct stated clearly once you are a government official, section 10.1, I think 10.1 or 2 declares that, mandates that you declare your asset. So just by he suspending them, I think somehow we'll say welcoming because he has taken some steps, but it's kind of a delay, too much, too much time went in. I don't know whether they wanted to amass certain wives before they could declare their asset. Probably they were playing delay tactics. But then the steps is welcoming. We should welcome the step, and we hope that next time he could come much more bigger than what he did by suspending. And some people needed to be fired, and for not declaring an asset. I think when you take those kind of steps, people know that you really mean business. You wouldn't say something and then people just go and sit down. Whenever you give a mandate, people should be able to follow your mandate. That's why you are in control. That's why you are the chief executive. You know, that's why when you say this, it should be or it must be. So for me, I just saw that as a delay from government officials, and I saw that as a delay from the president to have taken action. Suspending them right now, yeah, we see it's welcoming, but he delayed too much. And trust me, there could be other mandates given, even by law, and they will still delay because they know that after a few months or whatever before you will take action. Now to the LCC publishing some names, people who are now working in government. I think some you could consider that to be, some
Oversight?
oversight, and maybe that did. They probably have to go back to their system and make sure that they can coordinate with the executive mansion to ensure that names that are being sent to the email to the executive mansion and sent to the Senate for confirmation to do double checking of their list of government officials, have a database that somebody could do double checking of the database and ensure that people who names appear on their database are people that are really in government, that are people that are really being deployed by the government or being appointed by the president, and that are on an obligation to follow certain laws or the laws of the country. So I don't really see it as we can somehow consider it as a harmless, mistake, because those whose names appear and are not in government, there's no crime they committed. It just make them popular because other people say, "Oh, I saw your name, but you're not working in government. How can your name appear?" And that makes it say, "Oh, we made a mistake
We all know that people make mistake will be worse than other thing. But with the people, for those people whose names are not there and they are working in government and their names should also appear, those are the things that we should be taking into serious consideration, that they must go after and do the fast checking, crisscross those names and things, ensure that people who
But Morris,
also be there should also be on the list. So the LCC needs to go back to her database to ensure that they are paying people to do those jobs. And someone to could say I will take issue against the LCC because I'm not in government. I don't even have food to eat, and you publish my name, it could tarnish my reputation with business people that I'm doing that, I'm this, that. But
is that
declare your asset is not gonna, I mean, your name being published by the LCC is not gonna cause any kind of damage by somebody not doing business with you. Because if your name is not published according to law, the president has the right to take, I mean, the authority to do what he's supposed to do, like what he did today by publishing or by suspending people whose names appear, through or by the LCC, who haven't declared assets. So I don't really see it as or harm to the individuals, to those individuals whose names appear. But it is a serious mistake by the LCC by not being able to verify who are in government and who's supposed to declare their asset. That's the problem I have. So individual whose names
so?
appear for the
Do you term it do you term it as um, a harmful error?
harmful
Can
error
that
for
can,
those people whose names appear, right? It is not going to harm them, and it is not going to do any bad thing to them. For me, that's how I see it, in my own opinion. It is not going to cause any kind of more damage or harm for them, but it's going to show that the LCC is not on top of her game. You know, she's not on top of her game by making sure that those names that appeared on their database or that they publish, and whether they work in government or they are appointees of the president, to ensure that those names are correct. Their problem is because people are going to consider them that these guys are not doing a job, or the person who's assigned to do that job is not doing the right job, or either there is or there isn't any kind of coordination between the IDCC and the executive mansion and or deep in the system to know who's been confirmed, who was appointed, or whose position was reconsidered or recalled by the president and reappointed. All of that, they need to do all of that. That coordination needs to be done. If the president appoints someone and then later on they record that person for any reason, the executive mansion, the press team of the executive mansion, or whoever responsible for that should be able to update the LCC on a regular basis. If they don't do that, the LCC is on an obligation to also request for that, because they do have some information to also bring to the public as well. So the government agencies and ministries need to work together in coordination to ensure that these kind of mistakes really don't happen. But on the side of people whose names appear, for example, if my name appear Maurice Makari, he did not declare, I said, I'm not working in government, I don't have any appointed government position. I mean, for me, I don't see, I just going to say, just remove my name, because, obviously I'm not in government. So whether people go behind or go check it, whatever, I'm not in government. So I owe the government nothing. If you don't remove that name at certain point in time, then of course I can take action to say, but there's no need of my name being on those names. I mean, amongst those names that have been published for now declaring their assets whereby I'm not in government. That's why I'm saying harmless effort. I mean, harmless mistakes for individuals whose names appear, but it is a mistake, a serious grave mistake by the LCC. It exposes them that they are not coordinating or they are not updating that database, in a rightful manner, or show lack of
yeah.
coordination between
So
the executive mansion. Rather.
today, the after the publishing of that listing, some stalwarts of the ruling establishment went at the LSCC office to petition them to be vigorous in their approach on other corruption cases. On
Okay.
other corruption cases, yeah. Not just only the issue that has to do with the, the 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 people who did not live up to the time frame of the assets declaration, but there are other cases that the LSCC had, They are not coming with findings. They are not even going after those individuals who may have been caught in the web of corruption for prosecution. So let's listen to Mo Ali, what he had to say to journalists today concerning um, their visit paid today at the LCC office.
GSC audit report, the central bank audit report, the LC report. So that's why we escorted the vice chair.
What are some of the report named in this other report? Quite recently that the LACC has been going after other
No,
after folks.
so the firstly we must admit the response from the LACC executive chair, Councillor Alexandra Zoe, was very, very encouraging. She told us already that they are working on some of these things, and now that the party has made a formal representation and we stand willing to cooperate with the LACC, um, they are going to, in fact, now begin to look into the CBE things. They've gone, so they will also look at the LTA thing and the audit reports. And so these are things that make us happy. Remember, we campaign as a party on the mantra of fighting corruption. And so these anti-graft institutions are the ones that we need to work with to give them all of the support that we can in order to strengthen them to fight corruption.
So are the cases that you talk about were contained in the communication just presented
Yeah,
to the
definitely,
LACC?
definitely, we will issue the
And
party
also,
is
you want to
going.
talk louder a bit, please?
The party is going to issue a press statement officially today on that one. So I am not in the secretariat, but I believe the leadership has mandated the secretariat to issue a press statement about this, and I believe it will be out today.
Mr. Ali, but they are also saying that there could be a selective justice, especially by this government. There are individuals who are also to be
So let
punished
me
and
say
they
this
are not.
quickly. Let me say this quickly. The fact that the UP as a party has brought a communication to the LACC to say, do not spare anyone. There should be no sacred cow. We believe the LACC will work and the LACC will not have any sacred cow. They will go across the board. And we don't believe in it as a governing
Thank
party.
you.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Thank you
uh,
so much.
uh,
Thank you so much for watching.
so that's David Morris, Mo Ali there giving detail of their visit today at the LACC office. What do you make of that?
Yeah, Rufus, I think Mo already made some valid points. Those points, I think, for me, if if those calls are genuine calls, then of course. But sometimes, politics is very funny, and politics is something very common, especially in Liberia. You will see government officials are on the scene, make themselves public, and speak against ills, make people to believe that there are certain things ongoing and it is not in the interest of the country and its people, and they will prefer the rightful government institution using their power vested in them to make people who are responsible be accountable for those problems or for those circumstances that are causing for the Liberian people. Then behind the scene, these same people, they also they also try to store the process by trying to shield their interest at certain level and pretend like everything is okay, and they will prefer everything going the right way it's supposed to go. What am I trying to say? Mo Ali said the LCC must be holistic. They must go beyond just publishing names. People who are being accused of corruption, if they've been tried through the competent code of jurisdiction and found guilty, the LCC needs to take action. If the LCC is given that power to prosecute those people, then of course they have to take action. But I don't think the LCC is responsible for prosecution. I think the Justice Ministry could be responsible for prosecution. LCC power probably is to investigate, to unearth people who are involved in the corruption, ensure that they are investigated, and if they found out of the findings that this person corrupted a system or their own entity, then recommended to the justice system. It is the justice system now that needs to take action. If the recommendation comes from the LDCC with all of the the investigation done maybe by GSC, the LDCC, by other anti-graft institutions, if they carry on the investigation and then the LDCC recommend that these are lists of people who are corrupt or who are formed in corrupt work and they need to be prosecuted, the LCC, I don't know whether the act that established the LCC gives them the authority to go and arrest anyone who's been tried and and guilty of a crime to say we carry to jail today. I don't know whether the LCC is given that authority. So the LTA case, we've been hearing about that case ever since. We've been hearing about the LTA case that millions of dollars, were being corrupt, mismanaged, misapplied, misappropriated, whatever way we want to name it. Up to now, we haven't seen anything. Up to now, we don't know how far they've gone with their investigation. What holding the investigation? Nobody knows. Nobody's updating the public as to as to what reason holding the investigation for which it's not going forward, or what are reasons behind the investigation being paused, or how far the investigation has gone, and what are the recommendations given for that investigation to be completed. Nobody knows. Every time you will hear Liberian complaining that the president should not be uh, very selective in his justice system. He must be holistic. That is, go after everyone regardless of how close the person is to you, whether the person supported your campaign, whether the person is close to you, whether the person is close to your wife, the first lady, whether the person is close to your children. Go after the person once you want to fight corruption. And that is how people fight corruption. What becomes of the LDCC, investigation with those guys from LTA? What's happening? We saw Rosalind Swakugo Dene being suspended due to corruption, alleged corruption. She's undergoing investigation by the LCC. So did the LCC also investigate the LTA? If yes, what's the outcome of the investigation? What's holding the LCC or the government of Labrador informing the Labradorian people regarding that particular LCC, not LCC but LTA case? So Mo Ali is saying that LCC go beyond that. Saying the party is coming to say that. I think the president, people will see the president gave the authority, all those anti-graft institutions in Liberia, they have the authority to do investigations, so the president has no role to play again. But somehow the president, if the president wants to boost his presidency as well, you can call those people at the NDCC to say how far you come with the investigation. Why we are not hearing anything? Why there is no update? The Liberian people need answer, So if we start taking action against people that are being alleged for corruption and taken to court, investigated or tried, and they are found guilty, and we start taking action against them, then of course Liberia will move somewhere. I don't know how many persons in Liberia that people we are good at setting records. Sometimes we accuse you and the person goes to court, they arrest the person, they carry the person to court, or somebody go and build the person out, the person walk away. That particular case, it will be from one point to another. We do not have anyone in Liberia as well corruption and prisoner to say the person stole from the past government and this person is in jail now for this particular case because they could not pay by the money, they could not reform the money they embezzle, they are in jail. Everyone in Liberia that's being accused, almost everybody in Liberia are being accused of corruption. At the end of the day, they win a case. Earlier, when this government, when the Unity Party government took over, the Justice Minister said they're not going to go after any case that they don't have sufficient evidence on. So I mean, most of the people they're being accusing, there's no sufficient evidence. But at the end of the day, the LCC and the GSC will bring out report to say this person corrupted this, they did this, they did that. But still, the government still say they don't have sufficient evidence to go after people or to prosecute them. So let's just does that mean that the country should just be the way it is? Everybody just go about their own system. Anytime you see
You just found some kind of company that can bill you out when say 2.5 million lawsuit against you. The person pay 5 million, then you go home and say, okay, the man is being billed out. And that case leave from one point to another. At the end of the day, you notice nothing happens. So LCC, if they are empowered to prosecute after investigation, then of course they must do their job. If they are not clothed with the authority to prosecute, they will do the investigation and submit recommendation to the Justice Ministry that this person is being investigated and they are corrupt, or we found corruption holes. So let the person go to court. If the person is being, investigated at the end of the day, they found guilty, let them face the law. Because Labrador is 177 years, man. 177 years. Other countries around the world, they are moving forward. But Liberia will still just do one thing over and over. At the same time, we expect to get different results. We're not going anywhere. When you say it, and people say you talk against your own country. Liberia is the only country we have now. But with the way things are happening, you give somebody low position, that person go and start stealing. But yet and still, they say they want the country to get better. How the country can get better when one man comes and steals something that belongs to 4 or 5 million people and nothing happens? The entire country won't get, the entire country will not have any kind of evidence against that entire man, because everybody seems to be protecting their own interests. Liberia seems to be an interest country now. The country is divided in a sense like, if Rufus Divine Kana is my friend and brother and he's been given a position in government, the father can get something from him. And once my family can get benefit from him, if Rufus even does the wrong thing, I should protect Rufus. That's how like people see it as loyalty. That's why Liberia is going the way it is going. The country is bleeding with corruption. Corruption now is becoming, I mean, has become like normal thing. Like you do it, you come in the system, people tell you that, my man, this is how it runs here. You can't change it. So if you get anti-graft institution authority to do that work also, and then certain government officials who probably on the ground who tell you say, okay, give the men some time, give the men some time. Let me be very frank. Some of those people you see coming up to speak a lively about corruption, against corruption, they go behind closed door again, go stay protect those same people and still be caught making phone calls and things. No man, let's give the mention. This man sacrifice for the party. They may sacrifice for the president. They may sacrifice for the vice president. They may did this, did that. The country is not going anywhere if we continue that. So it shouldn't just be a merely thing. I don't. Let me be very frank with you, Kane. I don't trust any politician. I do not trust any. Do not trust any politician. Don't trust any politician, whether in Liberia, whether in Africa, whether in Europe, whether in America. Do not trust any politician. They will come out to say what they want to say, what the people want to hear. That's what they will come out to say. At the end of the day, they go behind closed so they get a different thing to do there. The way in which you will know that politicians are working is the kind of transformation that will be happening in the country in the lives of the ordinary people, people who do not have the privilege, or who don't get the privilege to become representative, to become senator, to work in government. As an ordinary citizen, they, once they make get a social basic needs and take care of he and family, and their lives are transformed. That's how you know politicians working. It's not about talking. It's not about talking. It's not about long talking. Somebody come to say, talk, 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 talk. Because I'm not saying everyone, if I say don't trust politicians, does not mean they are not working. Some of them are working in the interest of the country, while many of them don't have the interest of the country. They go there for their own interest. What they can get and what their circle can get is what concerns them. That's what concerns them. The rest of it, they don't care about that. So I don't trust any politician when it comes to say all the good things. Even my mom become president, I do not trust her. We will trust her when she starts transforming the lives of the people. Then we'll say, yes, she talked about, and bringing potable water, and the entire country got potable water. We're drinking safe drinking water. We trust her on that. The rest of the one actually promise, we can't trust her until it's been delivered or been fulfilled. People can sit outside, they will say all the good things. They get there, they themselves, they change all overnight. So I don't trust any politician. I stopped trusting politicians for over 10, 15 years. I don't know whether you're still trusting politicians like bro. Rufus, the first thing I mean, we who come from the journalism background, Rufus, I was on Truth FM when EFBC days, that EFBC went to Love FM that you took me to 2013, went to Love FM. stayed there 2 years, left from Love FM, went to other media institutions. Later on, went to Truth FM, True FM that I resigned from 2018, and before getting to, in other eras. If you are on the radio as a reporter, as a newscaster, as an editor, or whatever, you're working to a radio station and you promoting a politician or whoever, once it is a politician, you're promoting that particular person with us. The day you leave that radio 1 month, the one that make it 2 months, that man is no more your friend. It's no more your friend. If you used to call that man when you're on the radio or you're doing some work for him, you text him, that man sees your text. Even if he's busy, later on he will text you back or he will call you back and return your call. When you leave that radio, you call that man for the next 5 hours. You won't get it. Sometimes you call him whole month, whole year. You won't get that man. That man will tell you busy. In fact, he will start blagging anymore. The father is not hearing you on the radio any longer. The father, you are not working as a journalist any longer. He's not your friend again. They go on to the next person. They see what the Lebanese guys can add when you become minister of commerce or minister or whatever. They come to your office or they start calling you, gee, congratulations, because they want to do business with you now to get leverage, in the country to control our economy. As soon the president dismisses you or that particular party that elected you, that party, 10 you finish, when that one term finish or two term finish, my friend, you on your own. So I do not trust any politician. The politicians can come out and say all the good things. Yes, we'll listen, we have to listen. The journalists have to go to them. It is the work of the journalists to go and interview them to hear what they got to say. But so sweet
Well,
talking
folks,
today.
yeah. Well, if you just joined us, this is one on one with the CEO, Ambassador Ernest Gibson. We sincerely apologize he's not with us tonight due to some tech based schedules. He's unable to be with us. But Maurice McCarthy is here with me, and we are talking about a variety of national issues of concerns. We began by talking about the suspension of those individuals in government who did not live up to the time frame for the declaration of the assets. They've been suspended for 1 month without salaries. And there are some who are also critiquing the listing put up by the LSCC in the corridors. They are saying that the LSCC did not do due diligence or verification to those names before putting them out. And there are others who are challenging the names put out, said they are not in government. Some said they are just a board member. Why would their name be placed on such a listing? However, still with the LSCC, couple of weeks ago, we saw Facebook being flooded with this back-to-back exchanges when Martin Colley, an activist, a human rights activist, who once shortly worked within the Unity Party-led government on the assets recovery team, came up with information regarding the NOCA president, in person of Rosalind Swakoko Dennis, who, quote unquote, he alleged that she was caught up in a web of corruption by purchasing two vehicles, one 75,000 and the other 45,000, and paying quote unquote debts owed by the previous regime to a bogus institution, which is to be verified. So she visited the office of the LSCC, and it was interesting to know that the former lawmaker of District Number 3, Monserrato County, drove,
District 4.
the District 4 rather, drove on the compounds of the LSCC after she's been suspended by the president, drove on the compounds of the LSCC after she'd been called for questioning. She drove those two vehicles in a convoy on the compounds. But before getting on the compounds of the LSCC, he has scores of young people gathered with placards, agitating and calling for her reinstatement. But it was interesting to know that when she got there, The LACC seized those vehicles that are in question, the 75,000 out of the 45,000 vehicles. So on today, the LACC turned over the confiscated vehicles from the local bus to the GSA. They turned those vehicles over to the GSA. So as we speak, um, those vehicles are now in the care of the GSA as the LCC go through the alleged corrupt allegation leveled against the president of NOCA. So, what do you have to chant on that?
Yeah, with us, like as I earlier mentioned, I think the president took a bold steps. I mean, took a bold step in ensuring that the Liberian people can acknowledge that he's listening. At some point, he listens, and at some point, he takes his own time because he doesn't want to make decision in a hasty manner at the end of the day before it comes back at him. And I think that's the right thing to do as a leader. You don't just move; you move when it is necessary. When you take the decision, you do not regret why you take the decision because I think you may have study all of the ramification, repercussion that that decision may accompany. So the Nokar boss, former Nokar boss, or the suspended Nokar boss came under that criticism, like you mentioned, from Martin Colley and other social media, bloggers or whatever, concerning those vehicles. I read some of the posts, the Facebook posts, and they were mentioned that she turned one of the vehicles. I think in the accusation that she used 75,000 for the vehicle, but then the vehicle actual price was 45,000 US dollar, and then she wanted 30,000 as a kickback. But unfortunately, on Saturday, the car rental or the car dealer could not give her the kickback. So in turn, she preferred taking one or another more car that costs around 30,000 or more. I think 30,000 or less something. So they also disclosed in their allegation that she turned the 30,000 vehicle into her private vehicle, but then pretended like it was for utility use. But then the utility use, she ended up putting Tanti, a company that she runs on her own, that is involving to selling that's those female stuff and thing. I really don't know, but I think involving to selling some of these female items that they use, cosmetic or whatever. So the allegation, I followed some of the exchange between Facebookers and even the suspended local boss. At certain point, she was even angry and she was kind of more boasting about the car she bought. She was using all kinds of terms and things, as if she did not regret or she didn't do anything wrong, you know. And I think the code of conduct kept vehicles to be bought for government official. Even the legislators, they are to buy 45,000 or lower. So if you spend up to 50,000, whether you spend 45,000 $100, you have already broken the rules or the laws, because the law says that 45,000 down or downward. So if you spend over 45,000, then you have already broken the rules or the laws. The code of conduct says 45,000. So you as a local boss, if you use 75,000 or 70,000 to get two vehicles, the law is being broken already. That one is no argument. The law is being broken already. But how when in some of those guys were kind of defending her was like she didn't buy the 30,000 car for her personal use. The car was instead for utility, for utility. But the car cannot be for utility and then you have a private plate on the car. Later on, when the car was being taken, when those cars were being taken to the LCC, we also saw that the cars were bearing plates of no car. And people were saying like, oh no, the woman did not use the car for personal use because the cars are bearing the car plates. All of us know some of those things that can happen. People who defend people in abroad, that is just common thing. Like I was saying, people protect their own group of people that they have interest in as far as they're getting something for them. We first you know that representatives and things in that country, legislators in that country, and government officials in that country can take their cars and give it to their children to go and ride it all over when it is not even official time. Some of those same lawmakers or some of those same government officials and some ordinary Liberians can change their car plates anytime they want to change it. Your wife could be having your car registered, insured, and got all of the documents. You could be having yours, and it got some defaults, and it doesn't have all the documents. And if your wife decides not to go to work for 1 week, or if she's home or on a leave and thing, you can use her car plate. You will remove your car plate and put her car plate, and because her car plate is registered, you take your document and then go. And once the people see your car plate and they know that car plate is registered and legit, probably they're not going to ask you for document. So those things happen in abroad. So when people were talking that, oh, the plates on the car is still from the car, how can they lie and say the plate here for this that? I just saw that as a mere defensive and comments or whatever statement they were making. Those children you saw, those people you saw holding placard for reinstatement, they were doing it to get what they could get. As some officials of government getting problem, they got other people they call them reactionary people that are willing to go and collect people from all over because the country is tough. Some people can't even get $20 US the entire month. Some people don't get it even up to 6 months. So some of the children, when you tell them, say, okay, I'll give you $10 for the day, you're going for 1 hour, 2 hours, you're going when the press comes, we speak to the press, and then you go. People are willing to do those things. It's common. And because the reason they are willing to do it because our politicians have enslaved people within a country, the poverty, the hard time is too much to the extent that people can fall for anything. They can't stand for anything. They fall for anything rather than standing for something. So it has become a normal routine of people collecting people to say, if I was Rosalind, so I could go, anyone who dare to tell me, say, I'm going to bring people to hold placard and this, that, to tell the president to reinstate me, placard is not going to tell the president to reinstate you. Placard is not going to help. So I don't know who advised them. I don't know who are the political advisors and things. Some of the representatives, senators, and things, some of the decisions they take sometimes, I don't know who advising them. I don't know whether they have communication or the political advisors and things, whether they really know that, or maybe perhaps when they're telling the truth to say, boss, you don't have to do this, perhaps they don't listen to their communication people or their political advisor and they just go about because they feel they are the boss. Whatever decision they want to take, they take it. But if our communication person for any government official or political advisor for any government official, I will tell you plain blank, this is what we can do. This is what we can do. It is for your own good. That's any way you handle certain things. So you can be caught in a web. Allegation is an allegation. You can only go and prove that you are not, and what the people thought you are, or what the people are thinking that you are. The people allege for certain things, you go and clear your name. But it was clear when she started having tanty on one of those cars and things. You can't have those kind of things going on within an entity that was, that when even bankrupt for the other, on the other administration, the Eden government, when Eden came and took responsibility, say, I take the blame for my son. When Robert went and used no car money the way he wanted to use it, and the former president took the blame. Now another president has come out, and Rosalind, the reason for which a lot of people call him Rosalind has been admired as one of those people who have been standing for the truth. She has been talking about integrity, accountability. So if you've been speaking about integrity, accountability, they say he who preaches equity must come with clean hand. You can't preach equity and then you got your hands in a cookie jar. So everyone whose hands you cut in the cookie jar before, when they even see your hand over the cookie jar top, they will expose you. They will not even wait for you to get in the cookie jar. That is why you must be careful. And once you become politician or you get in the political line or the public spotlight, you are under a serious microscope. Whatever you did under your bed before, people start digging it up because people want to get at you. It is you now that are going to stand for you. It is you now that are going to protect you by your conduct or the way you handle things. So the NCC, thank God, they themselves got involved and they are carrying on investigation. If Rosalind feels like she didn't do any wrong, she's gonna be exonerated today or tomorrow. I don't think the NCC is again any individual government official to say this particular person, whether you right or wrong, we're gonna make sure that we report that you are wrong. No. You see the other eyebrow that he raised. How can your boss be under investigation in a token of an hour, then you go for police clearance to travel to the states? And I would saw that the controller was kind of trying to seek police clearance to travel to the US. Your boss under investigation, you probably could be called upon to provide some information, some documents to substantiate her claim or to this, and engage from things that she knows she's not part of. But then you're going for police clearance to travel to the US. The controller. So there was a red light alarm again placed on here that this guy, Mr. Jara, is going to the US. Why is he going to the US when your boss on an investigation? How can your boss be on an investigation? You're supposed to stand by your boss and with your boss and for your boss, ensuring that your boss is exonerated once all of you know that she has nothing to do with corruption or she was just falsely accused. And you have to stand by her. But then you're trying to the US for what? I mean, nobody knows. You know what you're going to the US for, but that particular time of the traveling, it wasn't right. It wasn't right. So she needs to go on an investigation. Let her go on an investigation, and we hope LCC will not take forever to with the investigation. But like you said earlier, it is just not about investigation. If this person is being found guilty of what being accused of, how does it end? Those money that is used on our personal things, on our personal life and things. Why are we not taking money back? Rufus, one person can steal the entire country money that's sitting now in Labrador, and nobody cares about that. How can Labrador go somewhere? If I hear people saying that the country is moving forward, if you match our years with our progress or our development, we are nowhere. We are nowhere. And we continue, some people continue to blame the 14 years or the 15 years or whatever years of civil conflict we had. Yes, we agree we have civil conflict. So are we going to just be blaming the civil conflict until Christ come? On the judgment day, we'll just keep blaming, yeah, we fought war, we fought war, we fought war, we fought war. So we'll never get developed. Since we fought war, we're the only country on the entire planet that fought war. So we'll never get developed. Rufus, we are not responsible for the family we are born in, whether poor or rich. We are only responsible for our life now if we can't do something to change the condition that we find ourselves in. Nobody can choose to born in family A or family B. But you can choose to not be like every other person in our family and you can be yourself in your own unique way. Liberia, we can say we chose to fight war because of the same corruption thing. That's why we fought those wars. Now, the war is over. We are tired, but people are still involved in the corruption thing. We don't want to go back to the same bitter past, but we can take some action, and to reduce the kind of corruption because we know it can be eliminated out of the system no matter what you do. Even the West, the Europe that I'm sitting in, their corruption, have corruptions here. America got corruption. They got places all over the world, corruptions all over. But it has to be done in a way that even the ordinary man must get what he deserves. So we can't keep shooting corrupt people and the young people too because of the hunger, because of the hard time. Sometimes I don't blame them. Before I used to blame them when I see people with placard and go stand up to foreign ministry, go stand up to finance ministry, go stand up with those ministry and things, trying to protect one criminal that have put them in actual poverty. And they go protect that person by carrying placard to say, reinstate the person, this person is innocent, this person is this, that. I mean, it's saddening my heart. But We can't do anything if we have a president. Each time we elect a president, we elect that president to take decision on our behalf, on and for our behalf. But it takes the political will of a president to deny himself, deny interest to say, hey, Rufus, I agree with me. I agree with you that you're with me in a mud. We're all over in a mud. We're all over in a water. But this time around, once you're on a team, yeah, Baba, anything you do that is now the right thing. You're getting off the train until we can have a leader to do that. Liberia can never go the place, I mean, to the level we want to go. We'll keep traveling all around the world seeking greener pasture because we can get it from our own country. People not, you think the people that Donald Trump want to deport from America, some of those people who been living there for years that don't have document, you read things, not everyone want to live in America, not everyone want to live in, in Europe, not everyone want to live in Canada. But because people trying to seek greener pasture, you do the common thing that you're supposed to get for yourself in Labrador, electricity, safe drinking water. When you need assistance when it comes to health care, delivery, everything poor, education, you can't get it. Just come on, Mariro. Start killing people. Come on, running somewhere, killing people. That's why you see people running away from their own country. And people say, okay, let's go buy and build it. How can you go build a country when you live from here, for example, you live from America, you live from Europe, and carry 10, 15,000 to go say you're going to do investment? You can't get all those things to make things that sort of work happen. How can you build it? You know, so those are things we have to consider. We are not considering that. And why you think they give people authority? People are being paid taxpayer money because the taxpayer depend on them that these people are going to make decisions that are going to affect us positively. But sadly, it's not happening that way. It's so sad for the country. So that's my take on that, brother.
It's Morris McCarthy, my co-pilot here tonight. We have limited time, so wherever you are and you are following us and wanting to chant in on those things that we're talking about, we actually lay emphasis on a couple of issues that has to do with the LACC publication of those who are not in compliance with the mandate given by the president to declare their assets. And in so doing, some individuals have come back, shooting back at the LSCC, bringing out their own facts as they term it, stating that the LSCC is in error for placing their names on the listing because they themselves presented um, the declaration back to the LSCC. But while others are tight-lipped on the issues, but we've seen the likes of Onanunga, Chris Onanunga, who is an ambassador at large. He came up to refute claims by the not refute claims, but he immediately declared his assets after his name was published. We also see the name.
We declare it today.
Yeah, he declared today.
So you see how these people, this you see the
So
people
they're
know what
putting
they're
the
doing.
man, they're
You
putting the
see,
person, they know what they're doing. They're putting the
you
person
see,
at test. They
you
also
see.
test. So we also see um, um, Charlesville Township Commissioner Samuel
Mhm.
Willie refuted claims by the LCC that he did not comply. He said he did comply. He published his copy of the document that he took to the LCC. We
Okay.
also see another person here um, who also said that he published he did give his stuff to the LCC, but his
Mhm.
name is being mentioned here. What is his name? Okay, um, who is he? Who is he? Okay, the mayor of Buchanan, George Gabwe. George Gabwe said he declared his asset, so the LACC was the one for publishing his name. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them that are here, but time is now our friend. But interestingly, Morris, this evening we got a sad news that a member of the Liberia National Police went on a raid in the Bonja area, precisely Busher Island, to a ghetto where it's been alleged that he used his firearm and shot a 17 years old boy. A 17 years old boy got shot in the process, and it's been confirmed that he's dead. So our own call to the Liberia National Police is to revisit the issue that has to do with those who they have handed firearms to, because just within few months we saw another death in the same Bonja area where a PSU officer shot and killed another young man in that same Bonja area. We've seen several deaths resulting from police officers using excessive force on civilians, using the firearm on harmless individuals. Like for this evening, as the news have it, it's been alleged that these police officers were part of a team that went to raid the ghetto in the Bonja area around the beach, and he came in contact with this 17 years old boy who, according to the information, wasn't part of the process, who wasn't part of the ghetto raid, but why they were in pursuit of these criminals, the officer allegedly fired his arm and the child got hit and killed instantly. So our own call here to the Liberia National Police is to revisit um, their decision on those who they handed firearms to, because most of these individuals that carry these firearms, they need some more training, because if nothing is done about that, we have people just killing innocent people, all because they have firearms, or because maybe they may be in high pursuit of criminals and not knowing where and how to use the arm. So what do you make of that, Maurice, before we call it a day?
Rufus, it is so sad. It is so sad to lost your child who you have taken care of from 0 day to 17 years old. To lose such a big child. It is so sad. And I would like to extend my regrets and sympathy to the bereaved family for the loss of their child. That child could be one of Liberia's presidents tomorrow or one of the government officials tomorrow. You may never tell. People beginning can be somehow um, ugly, but you don't know what God holds for the future.
Hmm.
So it is so sad that someone child has to die in a raid of the police. It is obvious. It is obvious that good people will sometimes be found in the wrong places at certain point of time in life. When police or when security personnel are raiding areas, sometimes you find people who do not have anything to do with that particular raid found
Hmm.
in those areas the wrong time. That's why we say you're in the wrong position or the wrong place the wrong time because you didn't know that such thing would have happened there. That is why in developed countries, the police do not go for shoot to kill. You understand what I'm saying? Because if
Hmm.
you're going for shoot to kill, that's when you should carry firearm. You can't be going for a raid, then you carry firearm. I think you should carry blank bullets. You know, you should carry blank bullets or carry some other gadgets and things that you can use when you're close to whoever you're supposed to get, and do you supposed to apprehend, you can use that on the that's what they call electric batu and all kind of things for the police, you know. So you don't carry firearm. I think one of the firearm thing that happened again was in rehab when they went to raid another place again in rehab. And this child was on top of his parents' according to reports. And then one of those police officers discharged his arm again and kill that particular innocent child again. So innocent people can be dying for negligence of police. I don't know how far those cases have gone. Sometimes we just say we disrupt the person with this, that. And it
They
is
can't bring
sad
back their
that,
life.
yeah, it is sad that sometimes they take the decision, but you don't see those decisions really, and you don't believe that it's really happening because if these people are being really prosecuted for doing wrong thing, and even though you're fighting for the government, but if you can start discharging your duty responsibly, we wouldn't be going to the particular extent of you killing people just because you want to raid a ghetto. Those people in the ghetto, they are all humans. The life they chose is bad, and because their lives are affecting other people negatively, and they are going after other people, killing them, and for no good reason, only because they want to take maybe their belongings or whatever. So if you're going after them to apprehend them, to bring them back in the society, teach them some lessons so that they can be reincorporated within the society, reintegrated in the society. You don't go there with firearm and thing because it's possible you could be tempted and you use that firearm. Some of those guys could jump on you, fighting for themselves to escape. They probably may not be fighting to kill you, but they could be fighting to escape the scene of to escape arrest. And then you pick up your firearm, trying to maybe you trying to warn that man, mistaking that firearm touches another person or hits another person, it becomes a problem. Like what happened to the 17 years old child. Someone who's not part of the entire thing you went for. But because you were in the wrong place, the wrong time, and because you use firearm, if he would have used blunt bullets or whatever, he wouldn't have killed someone. Maybe he would have got injured. Injury is better than death because you can reverse death, but at least injury can be treated. So it is sad that our police, I don't know, this is not the first, it is not the second, it is not the third. Police officers are always using firearms. They and their girlfriend or wives having confusion, they pick up their gun straight. The country is in a state of confusion because it's like almost everybody in the country is somehow traumatized. Rufus, let me be very frank. The emotional trauma is too much. You might not be crazy walking on the street, but emotionally, people are traumatized. People got their own problem, and sometimes someone can be having their own issues dealing with it, and then just by mistake, if they and another person just have a little encounter, that encounter can even trigger their own problem and make it look like you are the one who caused that problem for them. They themselves too don't know your own situation you are faced with. So everybody's kind of traumatized. So if the government will start giving firearms to people, I don't know, but I think we have to look at the strategies back. They have the security sector has to go back to redefine that strategy, to restate that strategy, to know how we can use firearms and see how police officers or personnel can use firearms in Liberia. Because or else innocent people will keep dying, Rufus. Innocent people will keep dying. Anytime you go for raiding, somebody has to die, especially people who are not part of it. Even those you're going to go and raid, they don't deserve to die. You went there to just implement the law, to execute the law. It doesn't mean you, when you go for reading, it should become a death penalty. You open your arm, start firing in the air, killing people for no reason. What is he going to say now? You're going to say, I was trying to warn those people. You can't warn the people with real gun. Firearm is for war from. When you're fighting against the enemy, that's when you use firearm. Those people you want to raid, they are not enemies. They are citizens that just chose the bad path. And as a government, that's why you went there to put things in order. But if you go put things in order and then start spoiling things or destroying things, putting it beyond repair, then it is not becoming something that we all have to be satisfied with. It's actually bad. I think, like you said, as you said, they have to go back for training. It's just not about training, but I think sometimes if they're going for this kind of a rating thing, people who got firearm need to report the firearm and take another maybe blunt bullets and go for the raid. After that, then they can come back. Because fighting could open among the police officer and those people they want to raid or they have gone to raid. If fighting opens, those police officers, what if 5 police officers decide to take out a firearm? Do you know how many casualties? It's going to be very fatal. A lot of people are going to lose their lives. So probably if they're going for this kind of raid and thing, they shouldn't carry a firearm. Maybe the IGO say, okay, we're going for a raid to King Raid today in Pinsville. So we want 10 or 15, 20 EPA officer to come to the headquarters and collect what you to collect all the guns you got here. Just lock in your gun and pick up these ones and go. We are going for raiding. We are not going to fuel war. They got equipment that you can use for these people and they can subdue those people. You don't have to use firearm on them. It is just not those people, but the innocent people who are living, surrounding, community, those neighborhood that you're going to raid. What becomes of them if you carry firearm? Their lives are risks. You're risking their life. So we need more training and we need to redefine our strategies of things. If you see one thing's happening today, I think the police should be thinking about that now. It's not just about training people to see how to use firearm. The police now should be thinking what to do in terms of raiding. It's not about training to see how the men will go use firearm when the men to use it. Because if you're going for raiding, you're not going for war. So should they continue to be carrying firearm? Even if those people decide to say they will fight against them, those people don't have guns. If the people start fighting with gun, start using gun against you, then of course now that's why police officers say we need backup because we have people here that got guns. Because the rules of engagement is somebody pick up gun for you, they are not surveilling any longer. You understand what I'm saying? Once you go to a surveillance pick up gun and point it at you, the rules of engagement, that person is no longer surveillant because they got gun now. So you can retaliate with gun as well. That's gonna be a different case. But surveillant who does not have gun, then you pick up gun for the surveillant. I don't see the logic. They are the security people. I'm not a security personnel, but logically, I don't see any logic in that particular thing. You off. You're not talking. Your more shaking. You're not
I
talking. You
said,
muted.
I said, time is fast spent. It's 10:08 here, and is there any other thing that you want to chime in before we can call it a day on today's edition?
No, so far I would just like to call on the requisite authorities in Liberia. Corruption is killing Liberia. You see, all of the aids and things that I've cut off from that have been put on pause. We don't know whether they will be on pause. It could be perpetual pause. You know, just worried about our health system. We first are worried about our health system. Our health system. If you don't have food to eat, but you are healthy, it's better. Somehow you can look for low piece of bread, chew, drink water, and sleep. But if you are sick, it is bad. So if you are sick, that's why you need to be treated. That's why you see in the Western world, as soon as you say your head hurting and you go to the hospital, they start finding solution to that particular problem. No matter what sickness you have, as long as it has been discovered that you have this sickness, they start fighting towards that sickness, start battling that sickness with treatment, and you live your normal life. So if our health system that are already been fragile, support can stop coming in or going in for them, it is a serious thing to worry us. It is a very serious thing to worry us. Our government now needs to do something. You saw what the Ghanaian government did. The Ghanaian government instructed the finance ministry to make sure that the aid that have been cut off from UC that support child mortality, that support or everything that concerns their health, that they should make some amendments to make sure that they can send enough money in a particular area. Those are critical areas. So now all of the support that's supposed to come from World Health Organization or UC and that sort of support the health system within Ghana, they're trying to find ways around that to make sure they themselves can support it. Who told you that people can be hungry in Ghana? People can be hungry, but they prefer being healthy than to be hungry. And they prefer being healthy than to say you're a summer food, but you're sick. So now they're putting their attention to that particular one. Liberia needs to do the same thing. One person taking 50,000, you paying the man 50,000 for himself, but you still buying gas. Nobody know what he will do with the 50,000. You getting car, you buying gas. You getting 50,000, but you still giving scratch car. Nobody know what he will do with the 50,000. All those things are waste. That's why carrying a country just like that. And because the people feel that when they cut those waste, they have to cut theirs, so they don't want to do anything about it. That's why Liberia is retrogressing. Liberia is not moving the way we ought to see it moving. People say the country is going somewhere, the country is going somewhere. For me, I see it as the pace Liberia is on is not even like moving, it's not moving yet. Because if you match 177 years, it almost like at 40 years old, then in 12th grade, I'm boosting your ear, say at least I'm going somewhere. At 40 years old, by in 12th grade, I say I'm boosting your ear. Come on, man. Come on, I mean, I'm in 12th grade, but I'm still to boast off because I'm 40 years old now. I should be having PhD. If I don't get PhD, I don't get master or two master, years are learning, but I shouldn't boast of it. Because somebody who just 20 years old and got PhD. So what does that person do now? If at 40, I get in 12th grade, I won't boast. You know, Liberia needs to do more. The president has to take some action. We first, we made law in our country for salary and things because we don't want to touch salary. When you touch JC, Director General salary, they'll see my salary about law. You touch LACC, they'll see that about law. You touch the legislature, do one that add a salary every month, they say that about law. Those same law, we can go and change it if we really mean well for the country. We can go and amend those laws and things. We can cap our salary at a certain point. The country can be suffering, be the eight or nine poorest countries in the world, and then official go and pay for money, then 60 or 75% of that money goes back to salary and loan. And the salary going back to a loan, all of the 4.5 or 5 million people, not even 1 million people eating that money. That just few people eating that money. The rest of the people that just hand up the live on. And then at the end of the day, the same hand that they use those same handouts so that people can go take placard and stand for them that they are not corrupt. We're not going anywhere. If you speak with some Liberians and some Liberians in Europe here and in other countries in America and other places, before they will tell you say they prefer cleaning people bathroom to make their money, to live that better life than to go by in our own country. Nobody should be saying that kind of thing. It's because the way our officials handle our country. We should come to Europe or America and learn and make impact back in our country. We shouldn't say we prefer cleaning bathroom or whatever. Anytime I hear that thing from any of my friends, I can get feedback. For the benefits for me, I prefer cleaning somebody's bathroom than to go back home. It tells you that there is no hope. He doesn't see hope in your own home. And we shouldn't be that way. We should not be going that direction. It's seriously bad. Young men, you go to school, you graduate, get a degree, you can get work. What happens to all the apprenticeship that used to happen? What happened to all the ones that the people who served for 40, 50 years that they benefited from? They were in school, they used to go to offices and things and be working, being learning on the job. That when they graduate at the end of the day, they get opportunity. They don't want to do those things for our country, for our younger generation. But then after when you graduate, they say, "We get 5 years experience." How can they make get 5 years experience when you're still in college? You get them and say, "Don't work." That is the reason for which somebody can be 60 years old still will bring them to make them ambassador. Because we feel that maybe 40 year old, 25 year old, he ain't get experience, but we did not afford him the opportunity to learn or to get the experience. We need to rethink. If we don't rethink, like we will just remain on that path. And like we will continue on that path, God is blessing people who concern about themselves, people who fighting for themselves. God blessing them. So I think it's not about the grace of God. God already gave you the grace, He gave you the resources. That's why He gave us all the resources we need. If we can do it for ourselves, God is not going to come from heaven. Jesus Christ will not come with the angels say, we're building Labrador. Labrador will not be built. So that's all I get to say, my brother. Thank you so much for the show today, and thank you for holding on.
Thank you. Thank you. Until we have the time, we say to all of us, thanks so much for the level of cordiality. Thanks so much for the efforts. Thanks so much for your viewing role. It was important that we had to chant on these things that we did
So you
chant
can record
on.
this show then too, right? This show can be recorded, right?
It is recorded.
This
You
one,
go
this
on it,
show,
it's there. If you
oh,
go on the
it's
page,
okay on a
when,
YouTube page.
when you go on the YouTube, it's there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
So
sorry, say I thought
until
that different thing. Yeah,
So until we have the time like this, God willing, is on Friday when we will be around here to talk about things that matters to the growth and development of our beloved country, Mama Liberia. I always say there are two things in this life we always remember for: the problems we create and the problems we solve. And we must take responsibility of two things in our lives: our fortune and that of our misfortune. Because in union, success is sure. With what above our rights to prove, we over or prevail. With hearts and hands, our country cause defending, we meet the foe with valor unpretending. Maurice McCarthy was here. My name is Rufus Divine Khan, and have yourselves a wonderful and God bless day for and on behalf of the rest of the team.
Hello, good afternoon.
You are tuned in live. It's the show you just can't miss. One on one with Ernest Gibson, CEO of Hartview News Network, bringing you the truth, independent and balanced analysis. We are proud to be the voice of the voiceless. Hartview News Network, where news is our game. Accurate coverage. We are rising to the theme. Live discussion on issues that matters to you. Community engagement. We are breaking right through. One-on-one with the CEO, Ernest Gibson. So mark your calendar. Don't let the time slip away. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Join us today. One-on-one with the CEO. Dynamic and bright. Stay informed with Hartview News, your guiding light.